Hey, thanks for coming back to the channel. The content of this video may be offensive to some. That's not the intent. So my apologies directly if anyone is offended by what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it. Little backstory about me. Some of you may know, some of you may not. I am a combat veteran, a combat pilot. All of my military career, which was Army, was in combat in Vietnam. I did 2 tours back to back, flying Cobra gunships. All I did every day was put warheads on foreheads on some poor slob out there in the rice paddies. I did a lot of support for other aviation missions, ash and trash. We got to get the mail through, right? As well, because I was in the cavalry, so as well as go find the bad guys kind of shit. I've been shot down 3 times, never wounded, no Purple Heart, never lost a crew. But I've seen my share. I've seen my share of combat bad stuff that happens to aviators. One of them, and this video is in response to the V22, that's Victor 22 Osprey, which is the twin rotor, one on each wing, kind of have movable rotors that turned it into an airplane kind of thing. That's the Osprey. Boeing Vertol built it. And I happened, when it was being developed, I happened to get one of those trips to Philadelphia, to see it being built. Kind of cool concept. Personally, I would have preferred the Cheyenne have gone through and gotten out there. I think the Apache's a piece of crap. But hey, what do I know, right? On a serious note, very recently, a couple days ago, a V22 Osprey in Okinawa, over in Japan, Air Force, 8 people on board, crashes, and it's similar to a mission that I supported, and because I'm feeling some kind of way about it, right? And I kind of want a little personal self-care comment thing. Not that any of you might care or any of you might even do anything. I am not going to blame the victim. Correction, I'm going to blame one of the 8. And I'll come back to why. I flew a lot of missions, thousands of hours, combat shit, one mission, and this Osprey thing is what got it back in my head, because I don't focus on it, but it's one of those memories, right? I was, my wingman and I, and then we had a little bird, Loach, the little one looks like a little ball, We were out doing cavalry shit, looking for stuff, and we got a call, from our Tactical Operations Center, for those of you that aren't aware, that, hey, they had a mission for us to go support a logistics mission, and that meant that we got some Chinooks. Chinook is the big, long helicopters, got the 2 rotors, one in the back and one in the front. That's what we refer to in the Army as the Chinook. It is a CH-47, I believe that's the other term, but we call them Chinooks. Some call them shit hooks, but that's okay. They were fierce. So we're on this mission, and the call sign, I'll never forget, the call sign that we were supporting was pachyderm. So we got on station, we're talking to pachyderm, and we're just flying alongside, and then the next thing you know, he pickles off his load, because he had a sling load, right? So he pickles off the load, and we go Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, right? And boom, load hits the ground, and then we see the almost, I don't know, seconds later, his rotor, both rotors just go and disintegrate. It was like disbelief, like, what? You know, I mean, this thing is flying along at 100 and some knots, right? And all of a sudden, both his rotors go whoop, and you know, you look at that and you go, what? And then you hear the aircraft commander, who I assumed was the aircraft commander. Now, meanwhile, this thing is fucking falling like a rock. It's falling like a rock. But while it's falling, clear day, over the radio, over the radio, I'm going to say the aircraft commander, on the way down, is calling out airspeed, oil pressure, ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. He's going through some kind of checklist. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Tell my wife I love her. Bang, gone. Ball of flame. Right? That was some serious shit right there, right? Because there's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do about that. It turns out it was a failure of one of the transmissions. It also came true because they did an inspection, you know, tear down. They have these things, and you probably have them in your car, in your oil system somewhere. You have these little plugs. I know you have one in your engine. These little plugs that on the inside has magnet in it. It's there, and it probably has a wire. It's there to say, if a piece of metal gets on me, I'm going to make a light show up. If it's a car, I'm going to make an idiot light show up in your panel. If it's an aircraft, I'm going to have a light and a fucking horn and all kinds of stuff. Because when that light comes on, it's bad shit. And that was the situation with Chinooks. I mean, you had you get a light in your transmission, you better be, land now, boom. You don't punch off your load if you got a load and land. You go straight, your helicopter goes straight down. You know, just fucking find someplace and land, right? Osprey, find a fucking place to land. Don't make it not an airplane anymore. Turn those rotors so they're up that way. Well, come back to this Osprey thing. That crew died from a preventable illness. And I am blaming the U.S. Air Force and whatever the fuck training they did. I'm blaming the general or whoever was talking to NPR, which did a good job of reporting on this, by the way. Props to them. They did a good job on reporting this. But the general is saying, well, you know, we want that, yes, we want that go get and we want that I can get there kind of do that thing kind of mentality. No, you don't. You want people to follow what they're trained. You don't want them making shit up, especially in a non-combat situation. Fucking Okinawa is not a combat zone, right? There is no reason. And they were on some kind of training exercise. Who gives a fuck? It's a training exercise. Do it again later, right? There's something, and by the way, the aircraft commander was a major. Figures. Fucking real live officers. He probably only had 10 hours of flying. You know, because they got other jobs to do. If they're not a warrant officer with wings, right? If they're not a warrant officer with wings, they got another job to do, right? They're not professional pilots. They're just officers that got a sweet deal in flight school. And that's how I feel about that, right? But this Osprey, man, it turns out, they had black box. Good job, Air Force. Army, Fuck a black box. We don't, black box. Are you dead? Who needs a black box? You just got shot down. I digress. There were 2 recordings. Now, unfortunately, the crew never sees what's in the black box until you land and you take it out and you put it somewhere if that's part of your protocol. So what happened was the systems in the airplane were saying, "Oh crap, bad shit is happening," and it was recording it. It was recording it. It was recording cracks, crack in an airplane, bad. Crack in your transmission, really bad. They were having cracks in the transmission. Now, when you got, and you know what a transmission is if you have a car, it's the thing that converts the energy to the thing that spins around. Really, I'm sorry, but it's really technical. And that's what happened to this Osprey, is that it got the warnings. The 3rd warning, it popped a light, a red caution light on the panel. Every fucking training I've been through, every training, every aircraft, helicopter, fixed wing, even the cars, when that light comes on, that affects your oil or your temp, you do not fuck around. You can have 0 gas. That's okay, because you can glide that bitch in, right? Or if you're in a helicopter, you can just auto-rotate it in. I got a story about that. But no. When you get one of those warning lights, or sirens, or both, forget the fucking mission. The only mission, the only job you have left is to land that bitch now. Land it now. Cancel the mission. Well, you're not canceling anything. You just stop. You're gonna land. You're gonna land. That's what that aircraft commander should do. But it's reported that the Air Force guys are saying, well, that's kind of the mindset we like to have. We like to have them, I can't do it. We want to, not when you're going to violate something that's going to kill your ass and you know better. That aircraft commander, that officer, killed 7 people. I don't give a fuck about him. He killed 7 people because he had the disease that kills everybody. It takes no prisoners. He had that disease, right? And that disease is get their itis. Get their itis. Get their itis. I gotta get there. I gotta get there. I gotta get there. You have probably said that at some point in your life more than one time. But I gotta go. I gotta go or I gotta get there. I gotta go or I gotta get there. Nobody really thinks about doing what we're trained as pilots. Shit ahead, it does a 180 and you go back to where you came from. That's the way it is. And it's not being chicken shit. So anybody that's saying that, fuck you. That's not what that means. That means, 1, I got $1 million airplane or whatever they cost today. And I got people in the back, right? And I don't care if my grandmama's dying. I don't care if my wife is having my first baby. I'm landing this airplane now. That's the mindset you need to foster. All the services. That's why I don't really fly commercial airlines anymore. You see those fucking babies sitting on the right seat? They just came out of the womb. And they're being groomed to get there. They're being groomed to get there. And that's what happened to these pilots in the Osprey. That aircraft commander, for whatever reason, and there is no good reason, it was a fucking training exercise, That guy gets, we gotta, whatever the fuck they gotta do when they get back, when they land, they gotta fill out paperwork, they got a meeting, whatever. He was a major, probably worried about getting that first, silver oak leaf, right? Which makes him a lieutenant colonel, right? All kinds of motivation I gotta get there. For whatever reason, fill in the blanks. No, you don't. And on a personal note, and I can document this, I have canceled more flights than I have ever flown, both military and civilian. And most of those cancellations of flights or abortion of flights were military, right? And I had a couple real live officers want to bust my balls, but you know, what are they going to do? Put me in jungle fatigues and send me to Nam? I have authority issues anyway, right? So I just got highly decorated and came home. Fuck those real live officers. 7 people dead because somebody felt they had to get home or get there or whatever the get fill in the blanks is. That's a lesson learned. Back at the ranch, the Air Force knew and Boeing knew. And the pilots were trained that if that fucking light comes on, you're a dead man walking. We as pilots know when that kind of light comes on, you do not fuck around. You land that bitch. Easier for a helicopter. Easier, well, it might not have been easy for the Osprey because they have to rotate the blades so that they can do a vertical or put it at some other kind of angle. They have to exercise the wing. I don't know, because I don't know how to fly an Osprey. I don't know if that was something they could have done now that condition was present. I don't know. But there was time to get that bird on the ground. Oh, fuck. Put it in the drink. You know? Put it in the drink. You can put the Osprey in the water. Right? And more people probably would have survived. Anyway. What strikes me is that we and you are all affected by I got to get there. I got to get there. I got to get there. Most of the time, it's not fatal. But the problem is that happens when it always is fatal. It happens here in Idaho when there's a winter storm warning saying, stay the fuck home. You look at the cameras. Everybody's out on the road. And then people want to complain that they die. Their mama died. Their son died. They were trying to visit, right? Those 18-wheelers, you see 4 or 5 of them on the side of the road, right? Upside down. Cab cattywampus. Why? Maybe that's why I'm not an over-the-road driver. Because I would say, fuck this shit. I'm going to pull over. And when it's over, then I'll continue my mission or whatever it is I'm doing. I have done that. I've done that in a vehicle, right? I've done it with hurricanes. I've done it with tornadoes. I've done it with flood. I've done everything in the U.S. I did it in Nam, like below zero visibility, right? And yes, there's a unit in contact, but it does no good to try to go support them, defend them, even though they're dying. If I can't see shit except the rocks that I'm going to run into if I launch. You understand what I'm saying? So those are the kind of decisions that people make. That fuck the movies, man. Where they say, well, we can do it. We got to go get them. If it saves one life or one soldier, we got to stop that. We got to stop worrying about, bring everybody home. We don't bring shit home. That's the movies. Saving Private Ryan. Biggest motherfucking dumb mission ever foisted. Saving Private. Well, why the fuck do we got it? What the fuck does Private Ryan have to do with shit? Come back to the Osprey. I gotta get there. And 7 innocent people died. 1 guilty person, that's the aircraft commander, died. All right. So, I guess this rant is over. I don't know how I feel. Any better. But it's my channel. I get to say what I got to say. So, your comments are always welcome, actually. And the intent of this was not to, get all crazy. I just had to get shit out of my head, and this is my way of doing it. So there you go. If you like the content of the channel, like I say all the time, if you're not a subscriber, I'd welcome you into the family. Please subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you get reminded that I'm getting ready to talk shit. No. And as always, wherever you can, whenever you can, however you can, carry on.